Now you should be able to be heard. Hello, internet.
Hello.
As Rafe was saying, YouTube streaming.
No, I don't want to say the thing I was gonna say anymore.
Yeah, you should
If I
probably
can
not.
be heard.
You should probably not. So there's a lot going on right now, and I just wanna talk about some things that are happening in the world as it stands. So
It's true.
This is amazing.
What do
Watching
you want from
Nathan
me?
in
Also,
duplicate.
can someone just in the Discord plug?
Okay, yeah.
I got you.
Oh, you got it. Okay, go ahead.
We'll all get you.
Yeah, okay. Just everyone at once. Be like, hey, come. We're doing a thing, and we want your input. I will probably wind up changing the name of this after we're actually done streaming it. So, hi, internet. We haven't ever streamed on YouTube as a cohesive unit, so this is a bit of an experiment. But, Shin Megami Tensei is a franchise I hold very near and dear to my heart, and a couple other people in this stream do as well. And we have someone who just very recently got into SMT, and I just wanted to talk about maybe some of how the future is going to go with SMT. So, first off, let's go ahead and watch the SMT V announcement trailer, and then I think we're going to watch the SMT III announcement trailer, because I don't know if Nathan and Rafe actually got the chance to sit down and, like, observe it. But for posterity, I'm going to let that play. Also, don't think audio is actually being captured from NDI. Doesn't really matter. So, as it stands, Lucifer, kind of really fucking big. Just like
very big.
Massively gigantic.
Is it what's it, huh?
Lucifer, you know. The one. It's okay. We'll scrub back through this video before we move on to Nocturne stuff.
Alright.
Yeah, so there's a lot going on here. If you guys specifically Rafe at you, Shin Megami Tensei usually takes place in a post-apocalyptic setting.
Mm-hmm.
And by usually I mean always.
Yeah, always.
And
Always.
I mean, it's an Atlas game, so you know basically everything you need to know from the premise of we want to go punch God in the face.
Essentially.
I mean, is there any other way to play an Atlas game? Even in Catherine, you go and kind of punch God in the face?
Seriously, even through noise suppression, you're able to trigger the microphone.
What a child.
Yes,
right?
what a child.
So
He is God.
the God you worship is dead. I hate to tell you. But
Don't know which one it was. He's dead.
They're all dead.
well, so first thing that I wanted to talk to Zaleon a little bit about with SMT V stuff. We open up to, we're gonna scrub a little bit. So up on stream, hello. If you guys didn't know, this is Lucifer. This is also the same model they used for Lucifer in Persona 5, more specifically Persona 5 Royal, because that is one of my most used personas. I would recognize it literally anywhere. But Lucifer's kind of giant. Just like
he's a big
absolutely
boy.
massive
Yeah.
in this.
Wait. Hold on. I don't want to. Sorry for cutting you out. I just noticed this. What tower is that right behind Lucifer?
I don't think that's the Eiffel Tower. I think there's a red and white tower in Tokyo that's actually very similar in shape.
I would say the actual
You know what?
architecture of it doesn't look right.
Yeah, I'm gonna
For
look
Eiffel.
it up real quick.
Good spot though. I do think that is one of the more common Tokyo. Yeah. That being said, he's like most of the size of a multi-100-foot tower, so Lucifer's freaking massive in this.
And I just got the name of it. It's the Tokyo Tower.
Yep. Um,
What a name!
look at
Yes,
all
what
of
a name.
look at all of the other demons around him though. Something
yeah.
tells me that if he's not the big bad evil guy, he's gonna be rivaling pretty close for the spot in this one.
Yeah, well, he could be the big bad evil guy because in SMT III, Lucifer was the final boss of the game.
Fair. It would be kind of
Eh.
interesting to see if SMT
think
5
so.
and SMT 3 coming out in like similar times. If they're like, let's just have a Lucifer fest.
Why not?
Yeah. So the god you worship is dead. As far as that goes, Rafe and Nathan, I'm not sure if you know about YHVH, but he's kind of like the primordial being, like what we would consider Yahweh or just the Christian conception of God in SMT. And I'm like, my first thought when I hear the god you worship is dead is probably YHVH. What were your thoughts on that, Zaleon?
Well, that one kind of blew over my head, that line. But the more I thought about it, yeah, it sounds like YHVH, which
Go on.
there has to be a pronunciation.
I've just seen it as YHVH most of the time.
Who or what is YHBH?
So it's like the Christian conception of God. It's basically like Yahweh.
Okay.
So he's like the big bad, typically evil in the conception of SMT. So if you haven't done much research into SMT, instead of like Persona has its social system, the big thing with SMT games is that you have, think of it like D&D alignments basically. As you play throughout the game, you can choose to lean more towards chaos and thus freedom, or what are the words I'm looking for?
There's chaos,
Order.
law, and neutral.
Yeah, so like law and order, which is obviously going to lean more towards not having freedoms, and then there's a neutral ending usually in the games, and so like you make decisions throughout the game that point you towards whichever ending you're going to get.
So almost like the Catherine axis that they use.
Yeah, basically.
Okay.
Yeah.
I actually, that's a pretty good example. It's just like a straight rip from regular SMT games. Obviously, you know, in most of them, you either like choose to side with the big bad evil guy or choose to like really mess him up. 3 had a really interesting take on it. That wasn't quite what it normally was. That being said, it's really, I want to know, because in this shot there are a bunch of demons, but I don't know if this is pre or post Tokyo getting destroyed in SMT 5. Because there are a bunch of angels. I can't remember specifically what the name of this demon is, and then you see all the little Luciferites. And I'm not sure if that's like the battle that ended the world, maybe? Because it's part of the trailer. It's still pre the character being out in like demonic wastelands. And now obviously they're in demonic wastelands, but we still have like the demons flying around, no angels to be seen. The other big thing that is really interesting to me with this is it kind of looks like in some way, shape, or form you're signing a contract with this, like I would assume god of some variety that came down and helped, right? Because he like sticks out his hand.
I would assume that too.
Grabs the hand, and then it has like the binding, kind of in the inverse of what you would normally see of like a blood oath, where you like wrap a binding. So that could be maybe being freed from a contract of some variety. Not really sure. It'd be super weird though if they brought in contracts into this, because that's something you normally see with Persona.
Well, okay. In SMT4 Apocalypse, what happens is you get killed in the game. So then you form a contract with the god, which I believe I need to figure out his name real quick.
Sure, take your time. See if there's anything else while I was working on that.
Okay.
Go on.
You form a contract with Dagda,
Okay.
and then he brings you back to life and allows you to summon demons. So there is a form of contracting in SMT
Okay,
for
and that's,
Apocalypse.
That Apocalypse was the most recent SMT game to come out.
Yes.
So I wouldn't rule it out entirely. So as far as like pure future speculation goes, super hype for SMT V. 2021 is really vague though. It could be like December of next year, or it could be Persona 5 and actually be 2024. But let's keep our fingers crossed.
Yeah,
that's some shot calling right there, bud.
it is.
That being said, the one I think is more pertinent to discussion here for
before we start this, I do have some stuff that I wrote down for SMT 5.
Sure.
So the book that the protagonist is reading, which I assume is the protagonist.
I don't see who else it could be. They focused on
I don't see
trailers.
Yeah. It's a copy of Paradise Lost.
Right.
That's been translated, yes.
Interesting.
Yeah. The god that came down and did the contract. So far, don't know, because I've looked at the design and the previous designs of other demons, angels, gods, all through SMT.
So, can you do me a flavor here, Earth?
Yeah.
Can you backtrack to the scene where the dude is there and you get the silhouette view of him like super hardcore?
Yeah, I can throw that up on screen. I need to sit here.
Back a little.
There was a specific like couple of frames where like, and forgive me for my lack of SMT proper knowledge, but it looks very much like he's got some sort of mask on.
Why don't what we can do is take this down to at least half speed, quarter speed. We can just sit here.
Yeah,
and
it totally just popped up there on the frame for a second too. But like the rest of the design elements do not parse for me, but like humanoid with a mask, like that unfortunately also does not narrow it down very much, but like
looks kind of like blue hair in this frame that I had stopped right here. It could also just be blue from the flames.
Could be.
And has distinctive lines running around his body.
Yeah.
oh wow, actually yeah, no, you get a pretty decent look, and like that one doesn't actually look like there's anything going on there, but then on the other one, because like that just looks like a face, but on the other view it looks like there's something popping out. It might just be his hair, I don't know. It looked like a mask for a second to me, and I was like, huh, that's interesting.
Could also be like shadow work or like light work on it.
Just from going from his body, it really looks like something that is almost like lava, just mountains, eventually.
Yeah,
it's definitely got that cracked rock, and especially the red lines running through it.
I definitely want to do some research and see if there's any like gods particularly known for like signing contracts in like Shinto mythology, And maybe if like anyone watches this, you could like comment below, or if there's someone watching right now, like if you happen to have any ideas, feel free to let us know. Because it really does.
Really,
yeah.
That's really weird because like the depiction of the character is not super like if you look at just like kind of generally historically speaking, if you look at like good beings and evil beings, rocky, craggy, and lava does not tend to align with the good ones.
No.
Usually makes me think of Darth Nihilus from Star Wars.
Yeah, well, going back to SMT for Apocalypse, Dagda, halfway through, turns evil, and you get the choice to side with him and rule with him in the new universe, or destroy him and be with your friends and create a new universe.
Right. This is kind of weird. Slowing this down, it kind of looks like maybe main character protagonist is actually unraveling. So I'm gonna stop this right on this frame. If you look on there, it kind of looks like maybe that's not actually a binding, but they're unraveling at the seams, kind of. Because if we watch this back as it continues, they kind of go into a spiral. Sort of
and there's a very specific coloring going on, right? Because the bindings start on the character's hands, then they transition to the other one, and they're actually like very bluish on this one, and they're very white on his.
It looks like they're both, maybe this is some kind of like teleportation, or I'm not really sure, but what I am noticing is this very like interesting striped pattern down both of them as this like flash of lights happening. And what I'm noticing immediately is as we transition into this screen where it says SMT V on it, there's what look to be very similar lines on that. So maybe it's gonna be relevant to the story, what's going on right there. I mean, obviously, but
Nathan, that might actually be super on the money.
I mean, it's a relatively similar area. I've just sort of been looking at different sort of volcano gods in the background. There is a Maori god that has a similar sort of muscle, sort of Regis tint with a similar style of hair that I can send a link to Earth, a picture.
Okay.
There's one picture in particular on mine, at least it's the 8th picture, is very, very reminiscent of what we're seeing.
I do want to discuss a little bit too, just before we move on. The time for creation has come. Now, if it is a volcano god of some sorts, creation by destruction is a pretty popular idea.
Yeah.
True.
Burn it all down and rebuild.
I mean, and they did start the whole thing with "Your God is dead."
Yeah.
Destruction.
Yeah. So that could very well be what's going on there. Any more comments before we move on to SMT III?
Don't know name for protagonist or the god.
No.
But hey, we finally got news after 3 years of nothing.
Yeah, it's been a while.
It's been a while. And you know what? I'll quickly bring this up. In the first teaser trailer, they focused on Odin a lot, like the new design of Odin.
Mm-hmm.
So I wonder how prominent Odin will be in the new game.
Yeah, actually, can we, like, I know it's old territory, but can we pull up and look at the previous trailer as well?
Grabbing it now.
Let's bring up a 3-year-old trailer.
I would say, like, I haven't seen it, but that's not surprising considering my exposure to Atlas games is about 3 months old at this point. Hi, I'm a Persona baby. Feel free to leave your hate in the comments below.
Let me wind this back up to normal speed. I was like, why is it not playing? It was playing.
Yeah, it was playing.
It's always funny looking back at this being like their 25th anniversary announcement and then nothing for 3 years.
Yeah.
That sounds like an RPG company.
Yeah.
Right.
Maybe they'll
Honestly, though.
delay it for the 30th anniversary.
Oh,
Don't
We're
say
almost
that.
there anyway.
fingers crossed. No, I do have to say, if this was original in-game footage, it looks a lot better already.
Yeah.
So many
Hee-ho.
of the characters you know.
Hee-ho.
And this is new Odin design.
Ooh, he's kind of sexy.
Yes.
And you know it.
His design reminds me a little bit of Strange Journeys designs for their like main box art character.
Yeah. There's one more point about SMT 5 I want to bring up, but I'll bring it up when we're done talking about 3 because it is related to Atlas and the future of the company.
Okay. Well, we'll go ahead and
So
move on to.
are-
Go on, Rafe.
Are roses like a really common iconography in SMT?
I can't think
No.
of anything off the top of my head that has used roses in particular. No.
Because like
Mm-mm.
that trailer in particular, like they're just all like they were really on the rose petal theme.
Mhm.
Yeah, they
And
were,
there's like
but
a little bush there in the middle of that like fucking parking garage or something, whatever the fuck it was.
Right. Plants have shown up in some SMT stuff before, but I don't know if roses in particular have been.
no, they're not particularly like a symbol of SMT. But let's watch Nocturne trailer.
Sure.
Most of the beginning of this is just footage from the original game.
Right.
Gotta say, this is looking a lot cleaner than P4G. For PC, I think they like actually went and changed the engine on it.
They did.
Semi-Fiend
I
looks
had a
slick as hell.
comparison image.
They'd about have to, wouldn't they?
Yeah.
Probably.
Yeah, they'd have to.
They've been working in Unreal Engine 4, so I wouldn't be surprised if this is an Unreal.
Oh, I guess I don't have it. I'll find it again. I do have a lot of notes on Nocturne with changes that are already prevalent.
Okay. I want to go over some
But-
stuff that is going to be fun for fans to come back to, though. First thing,
Yeah, Go
for
over.
for those of you that don't know about SMT III, this pixie that you get at the very beginning of the game needs to remain in your party until you beat it.
Oh yes, yes,
That is
that is true.
The written rule of SMT III. If you didn't already know, keep this pixie. It is the one
Yes.
exception to literally everything else that ever pops up in SMT. That being said, we see Raito here, which leads me to believe that this should be the Maniacs version, correct?
The Chronicle Maniacs, yes, but I do have some notes on that. I'll get to.
Okay.
So, like, is the Nocturne like HD re-release? Is that just because it's a fan favorite of the series, or
So
are they trying to draw a parallel?
well, that was something that we brought up with SMT 5 stuff. The final boss of this is Lucifer, so possible that there's some parallels going on.
Yeah, possibly.
Cause like I don't know anything about the story, but what I'm picking up from that trailer is that like the main character is half demon and you use the demon power to destroy the demons, and we're getting like some serious like maybe not the greatest of guy vibes from the person that you're like binding with or contracting with or whatever in 5. So like is it kind of like the same type of idea where it's like you're consorting with evil to destroy a greater evil?
Yeah,
Well,
so he's actually called the Demi Fiend, if that gives you any insight into where his character design comes from.
Right.
Yes. So he's before the apocalypse happened, there's like a brief 20-minute prologue of the game where you get to explore pre-apocalypse Tokyo. And then the apocalypse happens, you survive and get infused with, it's called a Nagatama.
Yeah.
I believe so.
I think so, yeah.
And that's what gives you your demon powers. But
Gosh, seeing the cuts between the old one and the new one, like obviously the better part of 20 years makes a hell of a difference in just
yes,
resolution and graphical quality, but god damn.
I do
know.
like the line "drive out demons with demons." Yeah, so just because I know you haven't like looked into SMT very much, Rafe, in Nocturne the way that it works is that Demi Fiend is one of your party members, and then your other 3 party members are demons. So you keep them on the other side, and then 3 does have the press turn system. You'll notice like you still have criticals the same way that you would, and then you'll have weak points. But up here in the left-hand corner is where half turns come into play.
Okay.
So you'll get familiar with the press turn system as you like explore SMT in general. It's not too dissimilar from the way that Persona works, but it is dissimilar enough that you'll have to like adjust. Matador is a boss fight. I know that for a fact. So this is a fun.
Matador is the infamous boss fight that shows you that you need buffs and debuffs for this game.
Let's see.
That's really interesting though, because like I feel like they're very purposefully staggering this. That like you have the Nocturne remake for for the people who maybe never got into SMT, because like it's been a hot minute, right?
Yes.
And then like it seems like there's a lot of parallels going between it and like the trailer that we've got for 5. And we've got a vaguer release date, so like summer, maybe autumn of 2021 is what they're shooting for on that. So give people some time to really sink their teeth into the remake of 3 and get a feel for the world, and then like throw them into like here's the newest entry.
Sure. Yeah. I'm wondering if a lot of what's happening right now, because the original Nocturne released on PS2. And we just got P4G, which also released. The original Persona 4 released on PS2 as well. The Vita was basically a PS2 in your hands, so P4G is basically a PS2 title. So I'm wondering if Atlus is just realizing that their games are really inaccessible for the most part, and they're trying to provide them to players to get their stuff out there now that Persona 5 has spread the Atlus name a little bit.
Yeah, because
Go ahead. Sorry.
Oh, because I have the Digital Devil Saga series on my PS3, because you can get the PS2 games on the PS3, the Atlus games.
The PS2 classic versions.
Yep, but they run so horrible. Like the first Digital Devil Saga runs at like 15 frames.
Ooh.
It's not even fun.
Yeah, that's
and that
that's
was
wild.
That was one of the things, and it really annoyed me because I did not get a first generation PS3 that was backwards compatible. But I've heard that even that one runs PS2 games like ass.
Well, the
Yeah.
other PS2 games like Nocturne and Digital Devil Saga 2, they run at the standard frame rate. It's just Digital Devil Saga 1 has so many problems to the PS3.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Either way,
yeah.
the biggest share of the market right now is definitely with the PS4. Switch is getting up there in terms of sales.
Mhm.
Sorry, Microsoft, but your Xbox has not kept up with anything at all. Unfortunately.
Oh, no.
So that's the other point of news on this is that SMT III is coming out on PS4.
Yep.
So I'm wondering if Atlas is just trying to spread things as far and wide as they can right now, just to like start getting stuff out there more. Because SMT is like loved by many people, but it is still considered like a niche section of RPGs. And if they're just like trying to spread their wings and fly a little bit, like of course I love it. But I have some requests, which I'm sure everyone does at this point too. So speculation for the future a little bit. Zaleon, what games do you think are going to be ported next and / or HD remakes?
Oh, I was going to save this for the end, but if we're doing it now, let's do it.
Oh, Lord.
Yeah. Going to SMT 5, this will be Atlas's first simultaneous release worldwide.
Sure.
So it's going to come to Japan and North America at the same time, which has never happened.
Right.
So-
As a Persona fan, I can tell you that I'm still crying about Scramble.
I was gonna say waiting on Scramble, right?
Waiting on Scramble.
You might as well just remake it for us, right?
Yeah. Might as well. Okay. The ones I really want to come out. For Persona, I really want a definitive edition of Persona 3,
That would be
Which-
amazing.
which, yep, you guys can agree to that.
Hell yeah.
And I want Persona 2 Eternal Punishment, the PSP version, to finally get localized here.
That is something I feel needs to be done, just outright.
Yeah, like the thing they'd have to do is to just translate it, because it's been in Japan for I forgot what year they came out, but they
2011, I think, is when the Persona 2 one came out.
so it's been 9 years, so we need this.
Oh, don't say that. That makes me feel old. I graduated in 2011.
Oof.
Oh wow.
It was 2013.
Okay, I was a little off.
Time is relative.
Yeah.
Sure. Whatever saves me a little bit. Yeah, those would be amazing. Any requests for mainline SMT?
So mainline SMT, I would love to see 4 ported over, but 4 would be tough because it's 3DS
Yeah.
and how it's set up.
So
It's
on that note, though, it's not impossible to port 3DS games. They just need changed a little bit. I'm a huge Kingdom Hearts fan, as anyone that like watches the channel knows. And Dream Drop Distance came out on the 3DS and was completely ported over into, I believe it was Unreal Engine 4 at the time, onto the PS4. So
that's true.
doable.
It's doable, but there'd have to be a bit of changes, because how 4 works is you have a 3D overworld and the bottom screen is the map.
Sure.
But
Right.
when you get into a battle, the top screen is the enemy and it's 2D, and the bottom is your party and it's all portraits.
Okay.
Yeah,
They
so
would have
it,
to do
but,
some
like,
work
that's-
with it,
oh,
but
God damn it.
it sounds doable.
yeah, it sounds doable,
Yeah, like
but there'd be tons of work.
I've seen like between a market that shall remain unmentioned. Like there are a lot of things you can do in like porting that screen region and having like a frame in frame type of thing, or just like Earth said, like those things are really subtle things that they can work into. Like if they're already porting it to an entirely different environment, it's not that big of an ask to have them change how the game is run, because they're already changing it at a fundamental level how the game is run.
Yeah.
But it really depends on what you're porting it to. Like PS4 is a bigger ask. PC actually a split screen type of thing with touch screen controls on the bottom with your mouse is not ideal,
But
but
doable.
it's not that big of an ask.
Yeah.
The aforementioned unmentionable market does a very similar thing.
Sure. And the Switch has made several 3DS games playable just through
True.
Yeah,
stuff.
exactly.
So I mean, and obviously SMT's been has been on Nintendo platforms for the longest time. So if anything, I
Yes.
could see it coming to the Switch.
I could. If they ported 1 and 2, those would have to be remade downright.
Yeah, I was gonna say we've never gotten So first ask Atlas SMT if please. We've never gotten if. It's
Nope.
a downright shame. As a Persona fan, I want it.
Yeah.
And I don't believe we've ever gotten 1 or 2 in the West either.
No.
So
Yeah.
if we could get like the real classics in some way, shape, or form out, that would be amazing.
My goodness, child.
Yeah. And then the other series would have to be Digital Devil Saga,
Sure.
because it's really great on the spin-off side. I would also say Devil Summoner with Raido from SMT III, but I haven't really touched the Devil Summoner series, so I can't say.
Sure. I think a lot of people would be excited.
Yeah.
That being said, I think potential realistic like next thing that we're going to wind up seeing on any platform, probably, I know it's going to piss a lot of SMT fans off to hear it, but is probably going to be Persona 3.
Most likely. That's probably going to be the next one.
And that being said, I don't know if Atlas were to do Persona 3, I don't know how they would do it. If they would try and do P3P but add in stuff from the answer and change it so that you have cutscenes for FemC, or if they would just like slap portable on PC or something.
Like, I think the only good way to do it, I could see them skipping FemC.
Sure.
But like integrating the extra cutscenes and stuff from the P3 is such a weird fucking beast, but like it's choose 2, right? Because like having the extra scenes and like the completionist stuff, but also having 2 versions of everything would require a lot of additional dev time, unless they do some sort of insert where it just pulls the character model and like for everything outside of the fully anime cutscenes, not the worst thing. Most of it's done in engine anyway. True. But like it's probably a choose 2 of the 3, and if I have to choose 2 of the 3, Raphael, thank you. Like the one that I skip is FemC, and like I almost exclusively play female characters in games, so that's kind of a big thing coming from me.
Yeah.
That's okay. Dorkun is beloved anyway.
Yes.
That being said, another interesting thing to know is 2 out of the 3 remakes or re-releases that we've seen have been on PC. So we've only gotten SMT III announced for PS4 and Switch. I'm wondering if there's some reason for that not coming to PC, and what exactly. Also, Catherine Full Body never released on PC. They just did the original Catherine on PC.
Yeah.
So I'm wondering what their approach is as far as re-releases are going.
I think they're testing the waters of PC real quick.
I can only hope that P4G's massive Steam launch success means all of it. Like everything that isn't explicitly bound by licensing agreements, just all of it. Give it all to me on PC.
Honestly, I would jump up and down. I'll even do it if YouTube wants me to, in the event that happens. You guys can hold me to that. Go on, Nathan.
I was gonna say, in the negative news towards that, it wouldn't surprise me if the remake or 5 don't immediately come out for PC, just because, as you say, they're testing the water. They probably have so much built already that isn't immediately transferable. It wouldn't surprise me if they eventually bring the remake and 5 to PC, but I bet it would at least be a delayed release.
Sure, and 5 is bound by exclusivity to the Switch for now. I don't know if that's a temporary thing or if it's going to be after so many years they can release it. Because we saw Horizon Zero Dawn finally get released from PS4 and is now on Steam. So
everything.
Oh wait, seriously, it is?
Yeah, you can get Horizon Zero Dawn on Steam now.
I feel like a schmuck. I've got it's still shrink wrapped back there underneath all of that crap on my shelf. A PS4 copy of Horizon. I like eventually, man. I was starting to get around to it, and then some motherfuckers had to release Persona 4 Golden, and everybody was like, "Oh, you need to play this game." And now I am down this rabbit hole that I don't think I'm ever going to escape from.
You will never escape it.
No, you're stuck now with with SMT and making YouTube videos with me. So
yeah,
there you
I'm kind of
go.
upset to hear that it has a Steam release though, because like I guarantee my computer is gonna run it better than my PS4 does.
Probably, honestly.
Yeah, it's probably cheaper too.
Probably.
So I guess I want to ask, Rafe, are you excited for an actual Shin Megami Tensei game to be available for you at some point in spring of 2021 to test the supposed harder side of SMT?
Absolutely. Especially with with the how you say with the current waters, there's definitely a divide between Persona fans and SMT fans, and it's a Venn diagram, right? You got people on one side, you got people on the other, and you've got some overlap in the general that just like them in general.
Mm-hmm.
But like, I am very curious to play an actual SMT game, going at it from kind of the opposite side, where all I've played has been Persona so far, and I've loved the hell out of it. Having it on an accessible console for me will be actually fantastic. Fast forward 6 months and I hate it, maybe, but we'll find out.
Yeah,
totally.
We'll find out.
Nathan, I know you said you prefer to only play games that you've actually purchased, which for streaming purposes is probably the best idea on paper.
Yes.
How do you feel about SMT III coming out in spring of 2021?
I wish it was 1, but yes, it sounds great.
That's fair.
I like playing games from the start, but like you said, getting games that aren't in English, and I don't have, the machine from '97 to play the game on, little difficult.
Yeah,
well, not to mention like the logistics involved.
Learning
It's possible. It's doable. You could learn Japanese. You could get just this ridiculous string of adapters and fucking placeholder frames to be able to capture a PS1, PS2 input. But like, Fucking oof, man.
Yeah.
I'd have to stream it at like reasonable time for a Japanese audience because no one's gonna watch me play a Japanese game in Japanese with only Japanese subtitles.
You
Yeah, that'd be-
underestimate the number of weebs in the United States, sir.
Yes, but most of
I
them use
happen
English subtitles.
I happen to play an MMO with a ton of them.
Yeah.
Oh.
Ask them how many of them would watch something without English subtitles.
That's fair.
Most of them play the game in Japanese.
Oh my! Okay.
Even worse.
Yeah.
All right, so Zaleon, I know you had a bunch of notes prepared for Nocturne. Do you wanna like
All right.
spitfire some stuff at us?
So, the spring 2021 release date that we have
It's for the U.S., correct?
is only for the US. It's coming to Japan October 29th of this year.
All right. I've got. Let me pull out my axe. Let me fire up the foot pedal on the grindstone.
I got a gear to grind with that.
So, but why? If 5 is getting a worldwide simultaneous release, why are maybe Corona's to blame? Maybe there's a lot of possibles, but why? Why undermine the thing? Like the big like fucking groundbreaking thing that you're doing with 5. Why would you not do that with the 3 release as well?
I actually don't know why they're doing it.
Well, I think I think Atlas has had a habit of underestimating the Western audience and how much we want things. Because Zaleon brought it to my attention that in the Japanese version of the Direct, the surprise reveal was not the SMT V information, but was actually the SMT III announcement.
Yeah,
it was flip-flopped, right?
Yeah, and it's been known for a while that Atlas kind of is shaky on what the US wants. Notable example, last time the inquiry about whether or not Persona 5 Scramble was coming to the US actually happened, they said they were still planning. And this was in April. Scramble is a big example of how rough Atlas can be with understanding what the Western audience wants.
Well,
true.
So-
hopefully, between all the stuff that's happened lately, and God's willing, the simultaneous release, I would love to see. It's probably not going to happen, but I would love to see the America sales for 5 just blow the Eastern ones out of the water. Like I said, it's not going to happen. Population density says it's not going to happen, and then you
Yeah.
account for actual Western interest in JRPGs. There's no chance in hell, but it would be a phenomenal thing to see.
Nathan, you have something to say there, bud?
Yeah.
I was gonna say it really depends on where we're at in the year. The market for a lot of things are sort of slowly grinding down. So if we really don't have any big JRPGs come out around that same period, I could see us doing a considerable number of sales no matter what.
That's true.
I-
Because
I-
That's true.
Project Rainforest. Sorry to drag a fossil out of the ground, but if nothing else proved the Western audience craving for these things, we literally basically got down on our hands and knees and we're like, Nintendo, please, senpai, we need localization for these 3 fucking Hallmark games. And we got some of them.
More than honestly we ever expected.
I honestly, I think there's hope on the horizon, though. Look at what just happened with Final Fantasy a year ago, getting basically every Final Fantasy in existence on the Switch with Western releases.
and the fucking HD from the ground up remake of a PS1 game.
Yes.
Yeah.
True.
So and that did really well in the US. Alongside that, Kingdom Hearts 3 sales were amazing. So like you know, Square Enix had a lot of backing going into that, knowing that they were going to be okay doing it. But I do think that there's been like super high demand for Final Fantasy stuff lately. And then Atlas has been like spitfiring stuff at us. Lord only knows, Catherine Fullbody was announced like 3 separate times. P4G out of nowhere, getting an announcement for Nocturne. Getting, after 3 years, SMT 5 news. We had Persona 5 Royal come out. Like, they've just been throwing stuff out like wildfire.
They have.
It's possible that if sales continue to like be really good, because Western sales for Royal were amazing.
They were, and Royal is the highest rated game this year of critics on Metacritic, beating The Last of Us Part 2 by 1 point.
I mean, okay, you said by critics specifically.
Yes.
Yeah, Metacritic.
So that tempers it a little bit, because like that's a rabbit hole I'm not even gonna get into.
Yeah, but it's
Probably
Last
not.
of Us 2, like beating that though, especially on the critical level,
Yeah.
is really impressive, because Last of Us 2 was the video game equivalent to Oscar bait.
Yes.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
And P5R was literally a remake of a game that came out 3 years ago.
Essentially.
It was a really good
still-
game, but P5R is like is extremely popular. So if sales for P5R were as good as they seem to have been, P4G really took off on Steam. It quickly became the best at the time, most
it
played.
broke concurrent player records. We still have not seen hard sales data, but seeing the concurrent player records and comparing that against sales volume that we do know for games that it fucking beat, it did real good, y'all.
Oh,
Well,
it did.
'cause it
It
beat,
did.
if I'm not wrong, it beat the concurrent player record for the PC release of Final Fantasy 15. Which, granted, 15 was really controversial, but it's
True.
still Final Fantasy.
Yeah, like a super well-known brand, a
Mhm.
fan-beloved brand, and the brand of a company who has long since, at this point, been like, no, the Western audience, God, I can't talk, is like, it's a real force, and we need to think about them. So I am super optimistic that the world, like the simultaneous worldwide release for SMT5, like might actually be a direct result of P4G.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's totally
Like
possible.
if like 3 remake not being simultaneous, but the 5 launch it is being, like, that tells me that they're already mostly done, especially if it's launching in fucking October, right? Like, it's basically done at this point. It was too late for them to turn around and give it to us at the ass end of 2020.
Yeah.
I imagine it's
Mhm.
more of a localization issue at this point. Just they didn't plan on releasing it in.
Yeah,
They
it
honestly
wasn't.
a
Honestly,
plan to-
On that
Yeah,
note,
like-
too,
Go ahead. Sorry.
I do want to throw it out there that, like, I've said it many times. I want P5S to come out so bad in the West, but I think I'm starting to see why it hasn't yet, because the amount of stuff that they have been translating right now has to be just off the wall, between trying to get Nocturne out and also trying to get a worldwide release for SMT5. I wouldn't be surprised if they only have like a handful of translators. That being said, Atlas, please, I'm begging you, by the end of next year, I want P5S.
yes.
I don't know about like, I don't know I've heard a lot of stories about their release cadence, so that doesn't make me super optimistic, but I think with the success of P4G I think with the just the overwhelming for lack of better terms, weeb culture in America.
Yes.
Yep.
It's a
Yep.
real thing. And them doing the simultaneous release of 5 really to me, it's they're picking up on the fact that this is a thing. So I would not be surprised. Scramble absolutely coming out in the United States or in America West or whatever.
Yeah.
Sorry for my American-centric fucking viewpoint of things, but definitely coming out with their current localization budget and God forbid fucking COVID-19 and everything else that's happened this year.
True.
I would not be surprised if it doesn't happen this year or next, but it's got to be coming because Dynasty Warriors, and I hate to draw the obvious fucking comparison, but that's really fucking popular in the West.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
So the last one
So
had some
well, fair. You were definitely more qualified to speak to that than I am because I'm pretty sure the last Dynasty Warriors game I played was 5, and they're up to 8, 9, 57.
11d6.
Wow.
Nathan,
Okay.
the resident Dynasty Warriors player. Go on, Zaleon.
Okay. Couple more things. So Nocturne is infamous for being really hard. Basically, the Dark Souls of JRPGs, as it's called.
You're talking to a
Bullshit.
bunch of Dark Souls players.
Now is it Dark Souls the Nocturne of Dark Souls?
Ooh.
I was gonna say Nocturne came out a long fucking time ahead
Yeah.
of...
Oh, there's already articles saying Nocturne is the Dark Souls of SMT. There's already articles.
I am totally fine with this. As a community who basically made our name via Dark Souls,
Yeah.
challenge accepted.
Speaking of, quick plug.
Otherwise,
If you're not already a member of our Discord, go and find it somewhere in the description below. Love you.
All right. But
Go
there
on.
will be a new difficulty, but it's going to be an easier difficulty called Merciful
Yes.
mode.
God.
So we'll have an
Accessibility
easier difficulty mode.
Accessibility is never a bad thing, though.
Yeah, it's never a bad
not.
thing.
As
So
so,
go on.
Smash that dislike button. But oh, this was a huge thing with Sekiro and Cuphead and everything else, on the Dark Souls train of thought.
Yeah.
People being no, if you can't play the game in its intended difficulty, then go fuck yourself. No, get out of here. I get that SMT fans have this super big Earth. This is where I'm gonna make people mad. I get that SMT fans have this super fucking elitist gatekeeper attitude towards everything. First off, fuck you. Second off, it doesn't help.
it's true though.
If you want people to
True.
enjoy the storyline and the setting and your game franchise, it does not help. Some people are not as good at video games as you are.
Well, the
Some
other
people
thing,
are not as good at video games as us 4 are. Sorry, get bent.
The other thing too is a lot of people. We talked about this a little bit the other night, Rafe, but a lot of people just have built-in ease on harder difficulties of SMT games at this point because they've played SMT games for a long time, and so they have innate things just in their bones at this point. I need to use Heat Riser. It's just part of the game. That's just how you get by. Matador's got to teach you that if you haven't played the game yet, but if you played SMT in any version, you know that you need to use buffs and debuffs, and that's just a thing. Some people might not get it the first go round. Just let them play the game.
Yeah.
And on that note, one of the reasons games especially Japanese games are so big, large, hard, difficult games is because it's a different concept of purchasing games over there. A lot of them only buy 1, 2, 3 games a year at most. So they want something that will last a long time. Whereas in a Western audience, and for us, sometimes you just need to get through a game. You don't have 120, 200 hours to put into a game. When you're working so often, you just want something you can sit down, relax, get through the story, and do in 60 hours. That's honestly the reason why I think it makes a lot of sense to put the easier mode in. Is personally, I love stories. Sometimes I don't want to deal with beating my head in many times.
Sure.
To just get something I could have gotten a lot easier for literally no less effort.
I think from just a general video game standpoint too, like if we want video games to be accepted as a like art form, a medium, storytelling is probably going to be the like line that we have to ride to do so, and not letting people get the story is like you're just screwing yourself over.
Exactly. So like, you know, there's a lot of hate for walking simulators, and like I don't disagree on the vast majority of it, right? Like, because it's barely a game, but just interactive story, like that is the fucking thing that video games have over any other form of medium. Because like, you know, the argument is like, oh, if you just want a story, go read a book. Tell me the last fucking book that told a story about gods being destroyed by demons, and like the character of the book like sided with the fucking demons to destroy the more powerful demons to restore the order. Like, I'm sure that book exists, but it's so much cooler when you get to play it.
Yeah, exactly.
And like that holds true for just about any story, even like the most basic bitch ass fucking storylines that some video games pull. If it were a book or a movie, nobody would watch it. Nobody would read it. It's not as interesting if you're not playing, if you don't have the agency. And that is the thing. The interactiveness of it is what video games have. And like, if video games want to be taken seriously as a medium, this gatekeeping needs to stop.
True.
I agree wholeheartedly.
Yes. All right.
Next point.
Sorry.
No,
UI,
you're good.
of course, UI has had small tweaks. The most notable is like the font and the text box, which I'll have you pull up the text box real quick, is centered. It used to be the text and all that would be on the left corner, the left side.
Yeah, I think if we scroll back to the beginning, we can actually see the left justified.
Yeah, see, so left is justified right there.
And you do get to see a lot of the UI elements in the original. Right here, you still have the half turns as well as the auto.
Yeah.
But it does look a lot nicer. I'll give them that.
Yeah, so UI's been cleaned up, which is expected. My next major point is we do see Raito Kuzuno in this, which is from the Devil Summoner franchise.
Yes.
He is the main character. And for a bit of backstory, there are actually 3 versions of Nocturne. The original, the one that was ported to the West,
the Capcom
was called
version.
The Capcom version, or the director's cut version, which had Dante from Devil May Cry.
That's amazing.
That's where that meme comes from, by the way.
Tangentially, what is it with these guys in 3? There must be 3 versions of 3. Is that a thing? Are we gonna get a Catherine 3 with 3 different versions?
Persona 3 does have 3 different versions. That's a good bit. Maybe we will never get a P3 re-release.
Wow. No, the reason why they did a 3rd version was because Atlas thought, hey, our our Japanese audience isn't getting this director's cut version, but let's tie it in with one of our games. So they replaced Dante with Raito Kuzuno to also advertise and franchise their new Devil Summoner series.
Anti-Valve moment. Oof.
Yeah.
Wait, what?
What?
Ben.
Anti-Valve. I was gonna make a comment about
Well,
Valve, but I
instead
decided to
of
keep
no
it.
versions of 3, we get 3 versions of 3.
In an alternate dimension, there was only one version of Nocturne, but Half-Life 3 came out 12 years ago.
Yeah, it was
So-
shit.
I actually have a sincere question about this. So like
Yes.
there were 3 versions of Nocturne. Which
Yes.
one are we getting?
So that's
So I was also going to bring that up.
The Japanese.
We saw Japanese gameplay. So it looks like we could be getting the Japanese director's cut version, which is called the Maniacs Chronicle Edition.
shorthand in the SMT community for it's just Maniacs.
Yeah. Well, no, Maniacs is the US version.
Okay.
Maniacs Chronicle
stand
Edition
corrected.
is the Japanese. However, if we did see like English gameplay, we could see if Dante will be joining us. However, there could be an issue with franchising with Capcom.
That's true. Whatever arrangement they had might have fell out.
Well, here's how the arrangement came to play. The artist for SMT III designed the devil triggers for Devil May Cry 3.
That actually explains a lot.
So in exchange, they got to use Dante for
That
SMT3.
actually explains a shit ton.
Yeah.
Sorry, long time Devil May Cry fan.
Yeah, it would be super interesting if we did wind up getting Dante in the US version, though. It would be.
Yeah, Capcom has been flirting with a lot of studios lately.
Yeah. So we could be seeing Dante, but if we do get Raito, I'm not going to be mad because they're
Ye-
actually the same character.
Yeah, and we never got the Raito release in the US.
No, well, you can play it. There's just you got to emulate it, and there's a fan-made patch that translated the entire game.
Yeah, I'm talking about official
mean-
releases though.
Yeah.
Yeah, like the same could be said for a lot of games. And like unfortunately, I don't support piracy, I don't support emulation per se,
True.
but like if there is not a legitimate way for you to get a game,
How do you let that just
Right.
die?
Yeah.
Yeah.
What is internet?
Hello,
It's a
Mother
weird
3.
exactly.
Hey, speaking of 3, well,
I did actually kind of want to bring up 2 points while you were talking about what version we're getting.
Okay.
And it ties back to why there might be a issue with the split release, because some might say that they would have just been able to use the translation, but if they're actually having to go in and edit due to a character, or it might even be because they have to wait to get confirmation from Capcom.
yeah, that
So
could
it-
that could
oh,
delay it for
shit.
sure.
Yeah.
Licensing
Yeah.
and a different character, which means either way they have to retranslate it. And if they have to retranslate it, they might have to do some different localizations with a character.
Sure.
Yeah,
So-
and even
Yeah.
potentially waiting for fucking Dante's voice actor to be available for the local.
Matt
Yes,
Mercer?
I was about to bring that up.
Mhm.
There appears to be voice acting in the game now. So we will most likely get voice acting.
So like yeah, that's and like that's hate to pull a card, but like that is something that people do not think about very much because like
It takes a lot
let's
of
be
time.
honest, especially as far as like English voice actors go, there's 3 that you can name off the top of your head. Getting
And they're-
past that gets dicey, and like they got a fucking schedule too.
Yeah.
I can name around 6, and it's because of a D&D show.
Matt Mercer is
the
actually
one I'm wearing right now.
I was gonna say Matt Mercer has actually voiced SMT stuff before.
He
So,
Makes sense.
Yeah. And like,
don't be surprised if he's in this.
I feel actually awful because I can't think of her name right now, but the voice actress for FemShep, as she is colloquially, whatever. You know what I'm trying to say? God damn it. She's in fucking everything. Actually everything.
I don't.
What? I would be okay with just voice acting for the entire game. That'd be amazing.
Jennifer Hale?
Yes. Yes.
Oh, okay.
Jennifer Hale voices so many female characters.
I know.
And like, if you ever start digging into it, it will stagger you.
It does.
That's true about a lot of female voice actors, though. Actually.
Oh yeah, like
Oh, yeah.
voice acting is an industry where like
it's small.
It's small.
there's not actually as many voice actors as you would think.
Yeah. One point I'm going to bring up. I kind of hope it's Raito, because back to that, because so the attacks are the same, but just different animations, different names, but they're essentially the same properties. Like Dante's gun attack is ENI, Ebony and Ivory, and Raito's, which I love the name of it, is called Boogie Woogie.
Bugle Boy of Company B.
Oof.
But no, because Dante, he plays like how he would in Devil May Cry. He does everything himself. But Raito, his attacks, he uses demons as well. So that's how it is. But it's basically the same attack, just different animation, different name.
Sure. I think it'd be cool to see Raito in the Western release. It'd be nice for them to do that.
It would be cool.
It might even
like
support.
Dante. Sorry.
It might even support getting Devil Summoner re-releases here.
Yeah, which we'll see. We'll need more time for more trailers to come out, especially like English gameplay.
Yeah.
To see what we're going to get. The last point I was going to talk about is this was to confirm the PS4 version, which you had to do some digging on the Japanese website to get the confirmation by going to the special edition that they have. However, Atlas made my job easier. If you go on the official Atlas West Twitter, they confirmed it literally like 6 hours ago.
I think on Atlas West as well.
They confirmed what? I'm sorry.
That SMT III will be on PS4.
Yeah,
okay,
there's also an official trailer up now that does have and PlayStation 4 as part of the thing. They do. I'm going to point this out real quick. If the YouTube overlay will disappear for a second, the bottom right-hand corner here says Japanese footage featured. I don't know how important that is for their localization stuff, but down here it does indeed say Japanese footage featured. So
I'm assuming that's got to be like a kind of a fundamental level thing, because like, pardon my thanks for the
something
subscribe, the follow, the interaction. Thank you for the thing. I'm not familiar with how YouTube things work.
I can't see it. It didn't get shown to us.
All right.
Unfortunately.
But
and
like, as far as the, because it was brought up earlier, like, you know, the moving away from left justified to a more centered, like, that's just because of how Japanese is read. That's a weird thing.
I actually wanted to
So-
ask that.
That's gotta be kind of a fundamental game engine thing that made them make that change, because
Mhm.
like you do not center Japanese text like that.
Yeah,
It does
Yeah.
not work as well as it does for English and most other romantic languages.
for sure.
All right. One last thing. The special edition that's coming to Japan. The contents have been translated. So the special edition looks like it's going to be coming with a 2-disc soundtrack, a piano arrangement version, and a quote-unquote rare edition.
Okay, so probably some like changed artwork on the disc or something.
Yeah, the copy of the
Was-
game.
Sorry.
Oh, go on.
No. You're good. You're good. Go.
Okay. A copy of the game. Don't know if it's both going to come with the PS4 and Switch version. Could just be one version. Don't know.
Sure.
There is a copy of the Occult magazine seen in the game, which appears to also be an art book. It looks like a nightlight, which looks like the saving terminals that are used in SMT III, and it will all be contained in a Vortex cube case, which is reference to the Amala Network dungeon.
Yeah, that's gonna be fun
Wait.
to explain later.
Yeah. The Amala Network dungeon. I already told you guys about that dungeon.
Yes.
You just said a lot of words,
There's a lot of stuff
and
coming.
most of it meant actually nothing to me.
So first off,
Can I get the basic bitch English
Alright.
version?
Here's the simple thing. Once you go in, you can't leave. You have to wait. You have to
Oh, okay.
fully
Okay.
there is no terminals to save or fuse demons. Well, there's a terminal to save, but not to fuse. So
Okay,
no
like,
gang new
it-
demons.
Once you go in, it's just like, well, fucking get on it.
Yep,
Yes.
and you can get into encounters up to 7 enemies, and it sucks.
Oof.
And guess what? It's the second dungeon in the game.
That sounds great.
I just want to throw out there too, if you wanted to see what the Occult magazine looks like, I'm pretty sure it's the one that I have up on the stream. So that should be what the outside of that art book looks like.
Okay.
Um,
That's fucking God, that's so brutal. That's so mean.
oh yeah, welcome to SMT. Welcome to SMT. This
It's a
tweet,
good thing I can stack my attack buff 15,000 times.
It's true.
true. Earth, I'm gonna send this tweet to you. This is a comparison of, so in Nocturne, there's this sort of like red tint sort of over the game.
Sure. In the
So if you
original
want to pull up,
Nocturne.
so this is original, that's new game.
So it definitely has been washed
Yep,
out.
and then if you go to the next one, that shows the overworld. You can see that, and you can see the new one. So there's definitely been a overhaul
Yeah.
to make it look cleaner.
Black
I almost bet that it just comes down because like the original is for PS2, right?
Correct.
PS2 did a lot of things.
Mm-hmm.
Like over the 12-year lifespan of that console, they did a lot to optimize programming, and one of the biggest things was fog to create atmosphere and also to hide polygons they couldn't render.
Yeah.
And like if you've already got a color value on screen, using it for something else, because like it was literally to the point of calling a value that wasn't already in memory. That was one itsy bitsy bit of code that like was wasted.
Sure.
Like, they really got to the point of optimization with the PS2 especially, where it was just like, no, fucking reuse everything that you possibly can in any given frame of the game to save fucking actually bytes of memory.
Yeah.
All right.
So this is what the HD collection is gonna look like. So there's your Occult Magazine art book. I'm assuming this is going to be a steel case.
I'd assume as well. There was nothing on confirmation on that. Of course, this is all still translations, and we may not get this in the West. I hope we do.
I was gonna say,
Great.
the Japanese markets are well known for their special editions that don't come on over.
Yeah. And,
Unfortunately.
and the next thing I sent you, Earth, is if you want, we can quickly talk about Nintendo fans setting too high expectations.
Sure.
Oh god.
Some replies have been hidden. That tells
if I
you
didn't
everything
piss
you need to
people
know.
off 20 minutes ago.
Zaleon sure will.
Oh yeah.
Let's get this fucking gravy train rolling. Smash that dislike button.
It's not our channel.
Yeah. So
Hey, engagement is engagement. Engagement.
Hey, by the way, if you guys like the stream, it'll actually like get pushed better.
yeah.
Also, if you do like what we say, do still like it. You don't have to just, dislike it.
Nah, hit the dislike button.
Oof, okay, that also is a thing. If you hate it that much. I know Ben's the one that disliked it too.
Well, but this was showing that yes, this is a mini partner showcase. It's not going to be in-house games.
Yeah.
Like, showing, hey, this is what the direct's going to be about. But if you go to the next image,
oh,
are we doxing people?
No,
what do you
there
do?
are actually like marks on this so that we don't dox people. But like,
yeah, there's marks.
Okay,
But
good.
So some
Just
of
like the way you said that, and then I looked over at the preview panel.
why would I dislike it? I didn't expect much of anything from it. Wow, Ben.
Okay, Ben.
Wow.
Okay. Benny B00. Let's talk.
Why don't you go into the other person's room and talk?
No, let's not do that. Yeah, there was a lot on here. Bravely Default. Why would we have heard about Bravely Default? Honestly, that was out there. Smash Bros is not a partnered game.
No.
True.
Bayonetta it was acceptable, I guess. F-Zero, not a partnered game.
No.
Zelda, not a partnered game. Mario, not a partnered game. Metroid Prime 4 is one that is like iffy. It's kind of in the same realm as Bayonetta, because Metroid Prime 4 is being handled by an outside studio, but it's still a Nintendo property. So
yeah, like honestly, of the things I'm seeing on that list, Xenoblade 3, sure.
Mm-hmm.
That's about it.
I
That's
mean,
about it.
basically, because like, why would they ever, unless they're looking for a character announcement? But like, didn't they just release a new character pass for Smash
Yeah,
Bros?
they
that we're
just
not
released
even
Min
all the way through? What the fuck would they have announced?
Sonic
Yeah.
feels really
So-
out there. Tomb Raider, I
Tomb
don't know
Raider?
why.
Yeah,
No,
Tomb
why?
Raider. I don't.
The remake series people have really been liking so far, but even
Yeah.
then, like, it's a port. Like, it wouldn't be anything special. It would just be another fucking port.
Mm-hmm.
And like, that is already something that the Switch is just swimming in, is
I
fucking
know.
ports.
Like,
That being said,
They've got Skyrim, a game launched 9 fucking years ago.
as far
I
as
was a child.
as far as Kingdom Hearts goes, I understand why that one's on there. Obviously, we've made videos about a lot of Kingdom Hearts stuff here. Melody of Memory was announced specifically for the Switch, although it's also going to be coming to PlayStation 4.
true.
It would have been really weird to get information in a direct about it when it had been like openly announced outside of a direct. It could have been possible if the leak hadn't happened.
True.
That would have been
Like,
something.
everything that was on this direct was kind of out there. We're getting a fucking non-mainline. So, spoiler. I follow professional wrestling, WWE specifically. A non-mainline wrestling game. Now, like, that was fucking left field.
Yeah.
You want to
Yeah.
talk about weird things to be released. And like, New Japan Wrestling is a big thing, so there is an audience there on the Switch market, but like, that was weird. Especially with the utter failure that the last wrestling game was. The last mainline one, it was awful. It was a glitchy, buggy fucking mess.
Yeah, I've seen a lot of
Yeah.
bug stuff from that.
Yeah,
Uh,
like when the direct happened, when I saw it was 9 minutes, I was like, "Oh, okay, we're not going to
So-
get that much."
They smashed a lot of stuff into a fucking 9-minute video, though.
They did. So we had the Cadence of Hyrule season pass, which I was like, "Okay, I enjoyed the game. Probably not going to
you-
get the season pass, but I enjoyed
You
the
want to
game."
try that again?
What? Did I cut out?
No, you were audible. I'm just. Can you say that name again?
I think it's called
Cadence.
Earth play the
Yeah,
direct.
Actually, what I wanted to pull up with the direct, this isn't even the right direct, is it?
Can dance.
Kanan? Oh, okay.
Is
That
it July?
game-
It's still July.
Okay, that game got a
okay.
season pass.
So yeah, we got
then-
Cadence of Hyrule. There was
the Row Company, which I thought already came out. It's by the same people who made Smite.
I had no idea this existed and didn't care when I saw it. Sorry for anyone that's interested.
Yeah,
in
I
it.
didn't care either. And then the WWE wrestling came, and I actually almost fell back asleep.
What?
Yeah,
Hey.
for real. Like, honestly, my eyes closed again because like, Earth dinged me at like 8 o'clock in the morning.
Okay,
Like
look.
some fucking not waking up at noon motherfucker. And it was like, "Hey, Rafe, did you hear the news?" And I was like, "No, I didn't hear shit. I've been asleep for the last 12 hours." And like, somebody else in chat in the Discord was like, "Hey, did anybody else watch the direct?" And I was like, "Oh, okay, that's what he's talking about." So I pulled it up, and like, as soon as the wrestling phase on, I was like, "What the actual fuck?" Like,
Yes.
Okay.
Asuka is amazing. She's one of my favorite divas right now, and she still couldn't hold my goddamn attention. And then Atlas splashed up. I was like, "Oh shit! Fucking wake up, Rafe!"
That was me. I was like falling asleep, and then they said this will be the last announcement we have today. And I was like, okay, Bayonetta 3, because of the Walmart listing Earth gave to me like
The night before.
the night before. So it's like, okay, Bayo 3, and then Atlas popped up, and I literally jolted awake like SMT 5,
So-
SMT 5.
My biggest
And that-
concern. Sorry, you can go on.
Yeah, but then they did the Nocturne HD, and I was like, okay, you know what? I'll take it. And then they did SMT 5, and
was such a
I
tease.
know. And then I just messaged Earth. What did I tell you? That when I'm gonna go back.
Real quick, the thing that concerns me the most about the way the direct was taken by the community. This was almost tied at one point, but we have 94,000 likes to 72,000 dislikes, which
Sheesh.
I'm afraid might make Atlas wary of
Yeah.
a lot of things right now because
I mean, that's fucking rough too. And like, this is where I have a lot of bones to pick with the fucking community.
yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry,
Basically.
that was all I had.
I
It's
thought
just
you had
like-
something else. I'm
Oh.
sorry.
No, like I can extrapolate if you really want me to, but it's just like
No.
fucking you got an announcement. We've got a slew of third-party games coming to the fucking Nintendo systems. Like, what do you want?
I just
They-
hope that
Go on.
Mario Jumpman Mario.
Not a
Right.
fucking third-party game, not a partner game.
I just
Yes.
hope that that Atlas doesn't take it as they're mad at SMT and more of just like understanding that Nintendo fans are actually just rabid dogs.
We're intense. We're intense. It can
Yeah,
be a problem.
I agree, Ben. I hope that they see it as the non-SMT stuff because I know everyone knows that SMT fans are just squeeing right now.
Oh,
I have to imagine a lot of the hate is the wrestling game. Out of the things that were presented, that's the most off market. And like it's not. That's the worst thing. Like I said, New Japan Wrestling is as big, if not bigger, than the WWE is. But when you come at it from a very Western centric point of view, you've got a lot of like indie promotions, and you've got a handful of really small promotions that aren't WWE. And most people, especially in America, you know, like wrestling is some fucking hick bullshit, right? Like, so like I could see there being a lot of people like, why the fuck are we getting a wrestling game instead of literally anything else, instead of Bayo 3, right? Like just
Yeah.
that.
Ben says he thinks it's that Cadence of Hyrule DLC and WWE took like 60% of the direct, and I agree they shouldn't have.
Yeah.
But my main concern is that Atlas has been super hit or miss with understanding
Mhm.
what the community wants. Just look at how often they do community polling and how long it took to get a P4G port. That's all I
True.
need to say.
Yeah.
So fingers crossed. All right, Rafe. Fingers crossed that they don't take it the wrong way.
Hopefully not.
Because like it was definitely the biggest thing in the direct. That's why it was saved for last. By a long shot. Obviously, I think it gives hope for Bayonetta 3 and for Metroid Prime 4 as well that we're finally hearing something about SMT 5.
Yes.
So even like Nintendo fans, if anybody watches this, please don't think we're like directly calling you like bad people or calling you names.
No.
We just ask a little more patience when Atlas, one of the dearest companies to my heart, is like they're touchy. That's the
Yes,
best way
they
I
are.
can put it. All right.
But they even said, Nintendo did say there will be more of these mini partner directs throughout the year.
Sure.
So we should if this SMT V announcement is any indicator, we should be getting news on Bayo 3 and Metroid Prime 4 soon.
Yes, and hopefully P5 Scramble.
And hopefully P5 Scramble.
And definitely P5 Scramble.
And definitely P5. I will take this to my grave. P5 Scramble is
Tomorrow.
the hill I'm willing to die on.
Sir, you're not allowed to die before it comes out.
Yes, it is the hill I'm willing to die after. Okay.
Yes.
That being said, this has been a really fun stream. We should do this more often, guys.
Yes. Well, yeah. Tomorrow, I'm going to be hopefully waking up before work, before I have to go, because we'll have the live letter from the producer for FF14 patch 5.3.
Awesome.
Oh shit.
Yes, and I found a bingo card on Twitter. I'm going to try to fill
Play
out.
some bingo.
Yep.
What time does this start?
5 a.m. our time.
Oh shit.
Oof.
Okay, Zaleon, so
Not
let
a
me know
chance in
what the
hell.
findings
6
are.
a.m. Earth will still be awake.
Probably, let's be
Yeah.
honest. One thing
I'm just going to go ahead.
I didn't get a chance to look at this image that was sent to me from Nathan, so I wanted to pull this up
Oh,
real quick.
let's see this.
Uh,
Oh,
So there's that one, and like I said, a few hits down, there's a depiction of that particular deity that is super in line with what we saw in the trailer.
Yeah, there were a couple different depictions of the god that really, and it being in a relatively close region, and it being very much an idea of a volcano god.
okay. I think there is definitely some merit to the idea. The craggly, veiny looking stuff on the outside. I think it's worth keeping an eye on and seeing. Maybe theory video in the future? Question mark. Anybody want it?
I mean, sure.
Mm.
I had one more thing, and like I
Yes.
feel like I'm really beating on this drum. Exactly. So the WWE like thing. Sorry.
Nope, go on.
I'm
Go
into the pastimes that I'm into. Okay.
Are you calling me out?
So Asuka, who was featured very prominent in that video,
Yes.
as well
Mhm.
as I can't think of his name, but like basically one of the top divas, one of the top fucking heavyweights. And like I think even Baylor was in NJW for a hot minute. Like a lot of WWE's top talent right now was from New Japan Wrestling.
Mhm.
Like there's, so, you know, I get it if you're not a fan. I get it. They're staged. Everybody fucking knows it.
Sure.
But like, you can't argue that there isn't a market share there to warrant an inclusion in a direct.
Especially for their Japanese audience.
Yeah.
Like,
And we
It's-
have it's a thing we have to remember about the directs. They're for the Japanese audience before they're before us.
Sure. I think Nintendo fans just have a hard time separating out that there are other.
Hold on
there.
one moment. I
Yeah,
got the
like-
Japanese direct up. I don't think I saw, because I was going through it. I don't think I saw WWE on there at all. I want to go through it again, but
like, New Day, and I should know, but I can't fucking place his face right now on the frame that we've got on the stream right now. Them I get less, especially pandering towards the Japanese market. The two black guys, probably not like the best, but you know.
There's
In
actually
terms of
difference-
general popularity, those are 4 of their most popular wrestlers right now.
There's some different stuff in the Japanese direct. It was actually longer.
yeah, it is long.
Interesting.
It's about 4
Okay.
minutes longer. There's an interesting little. This game's kind of cute.
It's about a harvest goddess that
It's probably
I want
harvest
this game.
harvest something.
It's about a harvest goddess and ruin and I literally was just wanting this game earlier today. So
Hey,
ignore me.
fair enough. This looks like
That
some
is
Pokemon shit.
fascinating. Why can't we get these games in the West? God!
I know.
Wait, hold
Okay,
on,
no,
hold on, hold
This
on.
looks
Who's this character?
adorable.
Hold
Who's
on.
this character? Are they confirmed for Smash? Look at that letter on the table.
Oh jeez. The first game that was featured on the Japanese one,
Mm-hmm.
Nintendo of America did talk about it is also coming to the West in November.
Okay.
Mhm.
Yep, so it's
Cool.
coming. Also, I
Cool to
skimmed.
have any indication of that.
I know. I skimmed through the entire Japanese Direct. They did talk about Rogue Company, the game that I literally forgot the name of yesterday when I was trying to.
Who is this
Think about
animu
it.
ass girl? She's adorable with her giant cauldron and everything. What the fuck is this?
There were way
But-
more games in the Japanese direct. Also, I'm noticing
I
on
want
the
this!
on the Japanese direct, there's 17,000 likes and 2.6k dislikes.
Mm-hmm.
So the
And-
Japanese reaction
I wonder
was
which
very
audience
different.
is bigger, just from numbers of likes and dislikes.
There is actually none of the WWE wrestling in the Japanese Direct.
That actually floors me.
That's
Because like I
So-
said, they
Yeah.
literally put a Japanese chick as like the featured prominently wrestler.
It's
And
super,
she came from New Japan Wrestling.
super strange.
That's fucking wild.
There's a DBZ. Oh, it's Jump Force. That's why they didn't talk about it.
Okay, yeah, Jump Force I could see skipping on the Western one.
Yeah.
It has not been super well received for us.
No, it hasn't. And then it goes into SMT V, which is
Yeah.
the same trailer.
And then
Then
SMT
SMT III.
It's so
And then
weird they
it
had them
ends-
backwards.
I know.
Like
It's because
it was such a weird thing too, because everybody was saying like SMT 5, but 5 though, and they're like re-release of 3 and ever like literally it was people being angry as fuck, and immediately as they were typing their angry comments being like
Hmm.
Yes.
Yeah. But
Okay. Geez, guys, I've had a lot of fun tonight. This has been a
I've
really
had fun too.
this has been a really fun stream to do. I don't know about a retail podcast, but I'd have fun going over news about games we like every once in a while as a live stream format.
Oh yeah.
I
By
would
the way,
too.
it was a subscriber. I refreshed your page. You're up to 73 instead of 72. So
Woo! Thank you.
if you're still around,
Yeah,
God
if you're
bless.
still around.
Rafe, quickly before he turns us off, retail podcast go.
Nathan, what pisses you off about? No, sorry.
people not caring enough.
Well,
Wow, that sounded really violent, actually.
It
You
did.
know, I just realized I have everyone's names up on stream, but do you guys want to take a second to plug yourselves and what you do and where you do it? And my stuff's always plugged, so
Where do we
Uh,
start? Do we start at the left? Zaleon, wanna do
hi.
the honors?
Is this art?
Hi. I guess I'll start. Okay. I'm on Twitter and YouTube. I don't post on there, and I don't go by Zaleon. I go by Revelier. I will give the links to Earth to link in the bio if you want. In the description, I mean, if
sure
you
thing.
want.
we'll definitely get that there.
Okay.
That's
This
not
way.
dismissive. I'm
Nope,
serious.
this
I'll
way.
put it there.
Go, Nathan.
Hi, I'm Learning Death 27 on Twitch. I stream almost daily. I stream too much. Other than that, I don't really do a whole lot besides hang out in the Discord, which will be linked down below, as you're sure to hear next.
Rafe. With the
Rafe,
child
Hold
in
on,
frame.
Zaleon
I'm
behind
threatening
you.
Ben.
with your kid behind you.
Oh jeez.
Small child.
Raffaele.
Ah!
Okay, bye.
I'll support the
Bye.
small child.
He was like, no, don't do
That's
it.
not worth crying about, buddy. I was hugging you. Come here. Come here. Come here, buddy. I know it's way past your bedtime. It's way past your bedtime. Come here. Come here. You're okay. You're
Aw.
okay. I am Kitty Go Roar on fucking Twitch. I am Medium Slinger on YouTube. I haven't uploaded a goddamn thing in like a year. I am around, man. Like, that's all I got.
Yeah. Look out for more stuff in the future. We try real hard, and all of us work real jobs. So if you like our stuff, you want to see more, just throw our stuff out to other people and see if they like it, because that's really helpful and would help us get along to not having to work quote unquote real jobs. Yeah,
Yeah.
we love you guys. Happy 2020.
We do.
It's been a wild ride.
I know, right?
Yeah.
And for more of your resident angry blonde guy, I guess.
Wait, you live near everyone?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
All right. Well, look out for more SMT and SMT III and SMT V news, Kingdom Hearts news in the future, and whatever else I feel like talking about. Really.